I know nothing about cricket, but what I do know is making money. And ever since the Anand Ambani video done mad numbers, it got me thinking, what other videos can I make that will give me a half decent month of YouTube ad revenue? And here we are, Virat Kohli's watch collection. For some reason, Indians are absolutely obsessed with this guy. And you know, Indians equals views. A lot of people have been saying he has a crazy watch collection, but I'm not gonna lie, I don't think it is as good as all of you are making it out to be. And if you're a new Indian to the channel, please subscribe now and follow me on Instagram. And if you want to buy your first, your last, your biggest watch, your best watch, go to prideandpinion.com now. So let's get stuck in Virat Kohli's watch collection. First watch. Rolex Daytona reference number 116508. Yellow gold Rolex Daytona with the green dial, also known as the John Mayer Daytona. Let me explain why this is called the John Mayer. This watch was introduced in 2016 at exactly the same time as the new ceramic Daytona, the black and the white dial. The Daytona was the most sought after Rolex for years. It still is, and for years people have been asking for the Daytona with a ceramic bezel. And as you may well know, Rolex is not really a company that listens to their customers. In the end, after so many years, they did give their customers the ceramic Daytona, which was launched in 2016 at exactly the same time as this watch, the green dial yellow gold Rolex Daytona, but also the white gold blue dial Rolex Daytona, reference number 116509. Because of this insanely big launch, nobody was paying attention to this watch until John Mayer done a video with Houdinki talking about an updated version of his watch collection, where John made a statement that this watch is the sleeper of the industry. Ever since that video, that watch was unobtainable. And this continued last year. That watch at some point went for $125,000. Can you imagine paying that for a yellow gold Daytona? That's how much people were paying for that. Let's call a spade a spade. I don't think people wanted that watch. I think people were speculating on that watch, to be honest. Don't get me wrong. I think it's one of the most beautiful Daytonas ever created, and the dial is spectacular, but not $125,000 spectacular. Today's value sits, however, between $60,000 and $80,000 depending on the condition and if it comes with a full set with box and papers, etc. I love this watch. I think this watch belongs in every big boy collection. I'm very proud to have that watch in my collection as well. It's a good start, but we have things to talk about later on. I think Virat is the most famous sports person in India, am I correct? Everyone knows this guy, everyone talks about this guy, but I'm not gonna lie, I checked out his Instagram, right? It's like a advertisement board. Every post is an advertisement for a drink, for this, for that, for all sorts of things.
How do you think you afford this watch collection?
Yeah, but I mean, there's also something like authenticity, yeah?
Just gotta make that bread.
He must have to make that bread, that Indian bread, bro.
Naan.
That is bad. The naan bread. He needs to make the naan bread. Of Peswari naan bread. He needs to make the money to afford this belter of a 15407 OR, the rose gold double balance wheel skeleton AP Royal Oak. Let me tell you a story about the Royal Oak. The Royal Oak is a watch that was first introduced in 1972. In the late 1960s into the 70s, the Swiss watch industry was struggling. Nobody was buying watches. This all got to do with the introduction of the quartz movement, a cheap battery-powered Chinese movement. AP, that was known for making small, complicated, formal watches, done something crazy. They made the first ever sports watch. They didn't make that in precious metal. They made it in steel and priced it higher than any average precious metal watch. But next to that, in the pricing, they also treated the steel like it was precious metal. It properly finished the watch. The first ever proper integrated bracelet sports watch was born. And what you see here is an iteration, a version of the Royal Oak, which is actually really complicated and first introduced in 2016. A double balance wheel open worked watch. You see a watch that has a dial, and a lot of people think, just take the dial out and this is how it looks. No, that's incorrect. To skeletonize or to have an open worked watch, you need to completely redesign and reinvent a movement. This was first done by AP in the Royal Oak in 1981. However, that was in a Royal Oak shaped pocket watch. That wasn't in a Royal Oak wristwatch. Reference number 5710. 10. An absolute insane rare piece. And I think they only produced 20 of those throughout the 8 years that that watch was in production. That's how difficult it was. 2016, AP brought out the open worked Royal Oak with a double balance wheel. The double balance wheel helped the accuracy with 30%. Now I hear you thinking, accuracy, it's a very expensive watch. Why is that not accurate? It's still a mechanical timekeeping device, and a mechanical timekeeping device is always less accurate than the Chinese counterparts that's called quartz. The value of a watch is not defined by the accuracy of the watch. What you see here is a near $175,000 watch. To be fair, you can buy them from around $150,000 upwards to about $200,000. Of course, depending on the condition, depending what is with that watch. I think it's an absolute masterpiece. It is not my first Royal Oak. It wouldn't be the Royal Oak I would like to have first. I would like to have a basic Royal Oak because of the legibility. It is basically a watch where you can barely read the time. It is what it is. It's not legible. Listen, 2 watches in, half decent collection. But all I'm seeing here is hype pieces. You see, 116500LN, same as this, but then the white dial. That was the watch that was introduced in 2016. That was overshadowing the John Mayer, the yellow gold green dial Daytona, and the blue dial white gold Daytona. That watch was going for $50,000 at its peak. Again, a hype piece. I don't really want to go into depth with that. I love this watch. Rolex is so powerful. Rolex is so special. They're the king in this industry. It is what it is. And they make damn beautiful watches. The white dial today is worth about $30,000. The black dial is worth about $25,000.
No, you know what I'm gonna say here?
What?
You a little bit racist? No?
Black dials matter. Come on, let's get that price up to 30 and get that white piece of shit down. I see that watch every single day on people's wrist. Every single day. And it's like, oh, you have one too. Everyone has one. Like, what the f? But I know the majority, 99% of the people in the world will never even see that. And will always have the dream to own that.
Losers.
No, don't do that, you dickhead. I'm just talking real here, yeah? 10 years ago, that was my dream. Today, I'm very fortunate to wear it and enjoy it, but like, I see this every day. However, something more special I see here. Again, the high piece. Do you see the recurring thing happening here? 5980 Rose. That one is still in production. This is a precious metal Nautilus on a leather strap. 5980. The first time that the brand Patek Philippe, the formal brand, the master of complications, this is the first time they ever made a fully integrated chronograph themselves. Let me explain. Fully integrated means that the brand made the movement completely from scratch instead of using a base movement and then building a chronograph module on top of that. A watch that is an extreme hype piece, specifically with the bracelet. He has it on the leather strap. I love the watch. I think it's a belter. It's a very important watch in the history of Patek Philippe. 5980, which I think is worth on the strap today between $100,000 and $130,000. Another Nautilus, 5712. A watch that I actually own as well, fun enough. Glass watch, incredibly thin profile, same as the 5711. A watch, again, that is considered a high piece back in the day and went severely over retail. On the top left, you see the power reserve. On the bottom left, you see a moon phase. You can also find a counter. Those counters have numbers. Those numbers represent the days. It's a really complicated way of saying it has a date function. And on the right, you see a small seconds. The second hand is not attached to the center pinion. The current value of that watch sits between $90,000 and $110,000. Absolutely love that watch. An interesting model, however, is a watch that I have with me as well. This is a 5968A. This is a steel Aquanaut that is worth $150,000. This is a watch I got for a very close friend of mine who bought this watch. It's also a good client of mine. I warned him not to buy this watch 900 times. He'll probably watch this video. If you spend $150,000 on a steel Aquanaut, I'm gonna declare you mentally disabled. My friend has some problems, yes. Love him to bits. He wants it, and he wanted it on the orange strap like Virat has here. It is a really cool watch. I like it, but not for $150,000. You shouldn't be paying that money for that watch. I don't really know what to say, but another high piece. Every single piece is a high piece. In this case, that one isn't in my collection. I'm not that rich. That is a $450,000 watch. The Rainbow Daytona.
You get that at Pride and Pinion or just Pride?
You get it during Pride Week in Amsterdam, no problem, son. I've hated on that watch for so long, you know, until I had the opportunity to spend some time with the watch. Basically, I was able to put the watch on my wrist for a while.
Spend the night with it.
Spend the night with it. You know yourself, son. And I'm not gonna lie, it's one of the most impressive settings I've ever seen. And you know what? Putting that watch on my wrist gave me so much horn. No, I'm joking. It gave me so much confidence. I don't know if that belongs in every collection. No, I would never spend that money for that watch. Last watch I really want to talk about is his 5270, and in particular, the green dial. That watch, in the height of the market, we sold that for $240,000. That today, I couldn't sell it for 140. But a 5270 in general is a really important reference number. If we look at the history books of Patek Philippe, they were properly known for complicated watches. If there's one combination that screams Patek Philippe, it is the perpetual calendar chronograph. In this case, the 5270. And that's where it really started with Patek Philippe making complicated production watches. Because Patek Philippe was known for making complicated watches, but they were only made to order. The Patek Philippe perpetual calendar chronograph was the first ever production line of complicated watches they produced. In this case with the 1518. This is the latest version of the perpetual calendar chronograph, and I think that was introduced in 2015. So it's been around for a while, near enough 10 years. And I expect that they're gonna do something with that watch in 2025. I'm not trying to up the value of this watch, by the way. It already dropped like a stone. I lost a lot of money on that. Yeah. Cool watch. 5270, worth about $140,000. Lovely watch. That's the only non-high piece he has. I think he has a very impressive collection, don't get me wrong. But all that was needed to build up this collection was money. This is just a slimmed down version of a Mark Wahlberg's collection. And I miss diversity, I miss independence, I miss a few brands. I would love to have a conversation with him about that. And maybe my Indian friends can make that happen. Black dials matter.